Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Carnivine. Ever since I saw the anime, I can only say it that way. Okay, so looking at Carnivine's stats, we have really weird mix of stats. It's one of those Pokemon where its highest stat is only 100, and there's not really too much else to work with. That when you have 70s on the defenses and the hit points, not going to be the tankiest Pokemon, and that 90 on the special attack just doesn't feel like it belongs, or maybe it's the 100 that doesn't belong. Either way, the offenses are split weirdly, and it means we don't have really a high stat of anything, and we only have 46 on the speed. So we're going to get hit by a lot, and then we have to try to deal some kind of retribution hit. I don't know about this one. So looking at its typing, it is a pure grass type, and even though Carnivine looks so happy, I can't really say much happy things about the pure grass typing. There's just so many weaknesses. So with the Carnivine, at least you do have the levitate ability, which is why you see the immunity to ground there. But overall, you're still weak to flying, poison, bug, fire, and ice. And while grass can combo into some really good typings and like create something like grass steel that becomes really good defensively, most of the time grass it's more of a curse than anything, but you do get some good benefits from it as well. Looking at its resistances, water, grass, and electric. So standard resistances, and that is going to be the grass typing. So hopping into Pokemon Showdown, so let's go to the Teambuilder. Let's go to Carnivine. I know Carnivine's like a stockpile Pokemon, and after that we have like Infestation and stuff, and then maybe Toxic, so Toxic, Infestation. This Pokemon's grass, he has to have Synthesis, right? I mean, boom, okay, we have Carnivine done, so at least Justin's letting me get my series done today. There honestly isn't much to say about Carnivine. Normally, I can come up with some kind of crazy set, and I can drag on the video to like 8 or 9 minutes, but I think I'm going to call back to when I was doing videos initially, and I only have like a 3-minute video, because there's kind of only one moveset for Carnivine, maybe 2, but by that point, you're pushing it really hard. So, Carnivine, it's a stockpile Pokemon. It can stockpile, Infestation, Toxic, and Synthesis, and that's kind of it, because you max out the hit points, you go into defense, and that leads us with the most frail of generic stockpile stalling, because a lot of other stockpile Pokemon, they have higher defenses, they have higher hit points, you can get more out of it. But if Carnivine can get in and set up against like a water or grass type Pokemon, get a couple of stockpiles going in its favor, then it can Infestation, lock the opponent in, use Toxic, and then Synthesis to heal up. It is a stockpile Pokemon with Sustain, which works out pretty well. So maybe if you're playing a fun battle with friends and you're able to use Carnivine in some way, maybe you could pull out this set and go for the ultimate cheese. It can work out pretty well. Other than that, Carnivine has just like some really interesting grass moves, but it's pretty standard stuff. It has Sleep Powder, it has Leech Seed, it has just stuff like that. So instead of maybe Toxic, you can go Leech Seed, but then that makes it really easy to get stalled out by a grass type Pokemon. The Toxic means you get stalled out by Poison and Steel type Pokemon, so it depends on what your team is going for. If you want to run Leech Seed, the extra sustain is always great. Leftovers, Leech Seed, Synthesis behind 2 stockpiles, you're just going to be unkillable, flat out. Get 3 stockpiles in there, and then you just wait for the Infestation. If you are using Leech Seed, maybe this is one of the few opportunities to use Binding Band. That does improve the damage. Instead of 1/8, it does 1/6. So by just keeping that Infestation in there, you keep chipping away a little more, and that might help break a stall. Like if they have leftovers, at least you're doing a little more damage after the leftovers heal, which could be nice. Leech Seed, chip damage as well. It could work out with the Binding Band pretty well. Sleep Powder. The only other thing interesting that Carnivine gets is Rage Powder, but there are tankier Rage Powder Pokemon. I mean, this Pokemon like kind of fails to be a Ferrothorn in a way that, you know, Ferrothorn likes to Power Whip, and it's a very high base power move, but Ferrothorn's tanky and can endure it. At the same time, it's kind of like a weaker Amoonguss. Amoonguss, it can go and use Rage Powder, but it also has Spore. So with Spore, you don't have to worry about the 75% accuracy. That Pokemon just goes to sleep, and it's a tankier Pokemon on Amoonguss that even has Regenerator. So it does get a lot more done than Carnivine. If we hop over to Bulbapedia, we can see that that is kind of it. And I mean, I've been trying to make the best of a lot of the Pokemon I've been coming up. I find something, but Carnivine, you know, it's just a regular grass Pokemon that might have some sustain, might have some damage, but doesn't have enough tankiness to really beat either, and yet it can still do things. Like the stockpile set, if you find the end and you're not going up against the strongest Pokemon, you can set up and it can still be pretty hilarious, because now you're getting 2.5 times your defenses, and while you do have a lot of super effective hits, having double defenses kind of nullifies those super effective hits, and you have enough sustain with just high base tankiness that fully investing into your defenses do make it to where, yeah, you can survive some things, but that's kind of it on Carnivine. So not too much. I know I built up a lot of hype around Carnivine with my most recent video in a way, but Carnivine, it just has like one-dimensional thing, doesn't really excel at anything too much. Still a cool Pokemon. I appreciate, though, the Soul Silver randomizer. You know, Carnivine, it's a neat Pokemon, it's just not the most competitive Pokemon, so try not to take this guide too seriously, and that's kind of all there is to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's how you use Carnivine, and I hope you all have a nice day.